What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, ready for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. You know, baby, what time it is? It's 9:30. It's time for the cause because that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero. Sorry about last week. Had a family emergency that couldn't get to, but we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about the triple overtime thriller loss to Bearden that happened a couple of weeks ago. I don't want anybody to think that I was shying away from talking about it because, yes, West can lose. Okay. Anybody can lose. So before anybody goes and says that James was a chicken shit and didn't want to talk about West losing to Bearden, I just want the records to be straight. I had a legit family emergency last week. And for those that actually chimed in and wished and was hoping everything was all right, I love you. And for those that didn't, well, that just says everything that you need to know about yourselves. That being said, though, we're going to have a fantastic show tonight. Most and foremost, I want to also say that remember that, as always, that the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. This is solely the opinions of Rebels with a Cause. So I just want everybody to know that these are my views, Two Pairs views, and Mr. Shane O'Mac coach is views, and not anything related to the school or the businesses that we work for. So let that be straight. And as soon as we get that out of the way, I also want to give some love to my girls, Kim Castle and Rachel Davis, over at the King's Chamber over there. They always take care of your boy here, and pretty soon they're going to be getting manicures and pedicures set up to go with the haircuts, the beard trims, the waxes, the massages. You get 2 free drinks when you go in there. Mention this, and you'll get a little bit of a discount there. And they also offer VIP memberships, the Joker, the King, and the Ace. Definitely, no matter how you want to play it, when you walk in there, they give you the royal treatment and definitely want to make you feel like the king that you are. So definitely go pay him a visit at King's Chamber. Also want to give a shout out to our boy, Mr. Alex Thatcher, his company over there in the heart of Marble City, right off of Sutherland Avenue, Knoxville Coffee Co. You know, that brew is good any time of the day, morning, afternoon, and night. So definitely go a visit and let them know that Rebels with a Cause said that's the best coffee in town. And I'm sure that'll put a smile on his face. So much love to him and his father and the Thatcher family. With also being said, I want everybody to get loud and proud because I'm going to be bringing on my co-host here in a minute because we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about the Bearden loss. We got to talk about the Clinton game, how West came out and really exercised their muscle. Wasn't perfect, lot still to work on, but this is a marathon, not a sprint. And this schedule is going to be challenging no matter who you face week in and week out, whether they're a 5A opponent, the 6A opponent, 3A defending champions for 9 straight years. Everybody is on this schedule and everybody wants a piece of West. And trust me, West wants a piece of them too. So let's not sugarcoat that any forbearing or anything of that nature. We also want to talk a little college football. How about them Vols, man? I don't care about who the opponent, but man, did Nico look good. Didn't even play the second half. I'm sure my boys are going to chime in on it. And obviously that chat box needs to be rocking the night because football is back, baby. It's in full swing. We had a fabulous weekend of college football, 5 days from Thursday through Monday. We got NFL starting officially Thursday and in on Friday from different countries. Then, of course, you got the full slate on Sunday, and then it ends with football. You got some and high school ball sprinkled in between. I love it. It's exciting. Let's get it going. And I know my co-hosts are just chomping at the bit to kind of come on and share their thoughts about everything. And we want to hear what you guys want to think. That's what that chat box is all about. So let's get it going. You know, right away, we got my boy Merritt. Let's go. Yeah, we got it, baby. We're going. We are going. We want everybody to, hit that like and subscribe button. Do that thing with the cause. Everything you got, baby. That's what it's all about. Week in, week out, day in, day out, hour by hour. You got to go with that cause. But let's bring on my co-hosts because I know they chomping at the bit to talk about a lot of stuff. And I also have a new segment that they don't even know about. I'm going to bring on the loser week, by the way. Doesn't necessarily have to be a player or a person. It can be a thing too. Just to let you know, even a place. Well, we use all our things that describe a noun sometimes. But truth be told, We're going to talk about that segment because I've got so much to air and gripe about what a loser they really are. And they chose the most opportune time to be a loser. And I can't wait to see the fallout from it. And I'll get to that in a minute. But without further ado, let me bring him on. First and foremost, he is the 2003 Mr. West. Hell, he's Mr. West every day of the week, day, year, you name it. He is the voice of the Runnin' Rebels and Lady Rebels for 18 plus years, going on 19. Going to be here before you know it. Can't wait to see what he brings this year to the mic. He is my brother. He's my favorite Florida State Seminole, and I love him with all my heart. The one, the only two-pair Tate. Brian Tate, what is up, buddy?
What's up, man? Nothing
How are
much,
you
man.
doing?
Nothing much. Seminoles are bad. Vols are good. The Canes are back. I mean, like, I really think Miami runs the state of Florida after what I've seen.
Yeah.
Like the recruits that are the recruits that are committed to Florida State are not going to be going to Florida State after these 2 weeks. These 2 weeks have been bad for Florida State, but Florida at home, you get housed like that. Like
Yeah.
that Miami team. That Miami team's a lot better than a lot of people predicted. I
They
think
got
they're going to make.
dogs.
I think that Miami team makes it 12. Just the way they run the ball, the way they are defensively, like I have to say, give me 3 to 4 weeks, and I think I'm gonna say the U is back. The U is they brought it.
They
They
did.
went to the swamp. You know what I'm saying? Like they went to the swamp and did that. They didn't do that at Hard Rock Stadium. They did that in the swamp, which was really telling.
Merritt said that he's actually bet against Florida State and won in back-to-back weeks, which I wouldn't have bet against them. I wouldn't have. I mean,
Nah,
my
I
goodness.
mean, I thought, I thought I thought they had turned the corner after, you know what I'm saying? You beat a LSU team 2 years in a row. Like
Hmm.
you're kind of, you know what I'm saying? But that LSU team is so undisciplined. Like the way they looked
Oh,
against the way I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm just talking college football, high school football. I'm just,
we're going to be all over the
just
place
as
tonight,
intro.
man. We're
We're
going to
gonna
be
be
all
all
over
over
the
the place.
place. So, yeah.
But for West High, uh, I rewatched that Bearden game. We could have won the game in regulation.
No doubt.
We gave up a third quarter. Um, there was just a lot. I think West left a lot on the table against Bearden. I really do. Like you don't get the ball to Burnine enough, who is a difference maker.
Hmm.
You you get the ball to take like Tavion Ray fumbles the ball first play of the game.
And it's scoop and score, and you're already
A
in a
scoop
seven
and
nothing hole.
score. So we're in a seven. You're in a 7-0 hole. Then then he gets to 13-0. You spot him 13 points,
Hmm.
and it just was like the atmosphere. It was loud. It was packed. I mean, we were there till almost midnight,
We were there till
almost
midnight. I
close.
didn't. I didn't get home till 1 in the morning because of traffic and obligations after the game and everything like that. It was a long day. It was a
It
long
was a
from morning,
long.
and everything that could have gone wrong that day for me having to have a new battery and alternator put in my vehicle. I mean, it just. I
Yeah.
just was like, we're doomed. We're done. I knew it right from the beginning. So,
No, no,
Shane
man.
got hurt. Shane got hurt coaching his game, and he's still in pain. I'll let him talk about that when he comes on here in a second. But yeah, no,
Mhm.
we got a lot to talk about for sure. And
We do, man. We got a
course, I
lot to
want to
talk
bring
about.
him on. I want to bring on the coach, and I know he's got a lot to say about not only these last two West games, but college football. We got the big Farragut game on Friday on the road, so we
Hmm.
got and Farragut's got a lot to play for. I mean, they are a dangerous
Barry's got a
opponent. Do
ton to
not
play
let that
for.
0-2 record say anything about them because
Right.
here's the truth of it. They always play West tough. That's a fact.
Always,
You
they
can throw
do.
the
They do.
records out. You can throw wherever we play. It's always a close game. It's always a good game. And
hmm
and here's the thing: West, or Farragut rather, they lost a close one to Dobbins Bennett on the road. They did get
hmm
beaten pretty handily by Powell at Powell. A lot of teams go to Powell and lose,
A
but
lot
now
of
this is
Powell, a lot
their
of teams
home.
go to Powell and lose. Like Powell's a treacherous place to play.
And this is their home opener in Farragut. So they're wanting
hmm
to win. They don't want to start 0-3. They don't want that at all. So,
No, they don't want to
but yeah,
start 0-3.
yeah,
But it's just like when you take a, what I'm saying, a look at what was wrong with the Bearden game, what went right against Clinton. I look at it from a standpoint of it was times we looked like we were giving the game away against Bearden.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And it is hard to believe you give up 13 and you get the overtime. I agree. I agree with Mary. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have gotten to that predict. You know what I mean? It really shouldn't have.
yeah, yeah.
It
It should.
shouldn't have got to that predicament.
And we're going to get there. And shout out to Jamie Farley. Thank you for watching and contributing to the show. We're going to talk about them Admirals. I have a lot of thoughts about them, and they would love to give their new coach his first win against the defending champions. And do not expect them just to roll over. They are going to be balling out just like Bearden was. I mean, Wes is going to get everybody's best shot. That's what I want everybody to
hmm
realize and so forth. And again, when you have done what you've done, you need to understand the position you're in, and you take a punch and then you
Yeah,
punch them back like a boxer.
exactly,
Okay, simple
exactly.
as that.
And
So yeah.
it just was one of those. It was one of those games where we were laying the haymaker, they laid the haymaker. I felt like we didn't make enough plays in the passing game.
Mhm.
There was times when, as we're always going to big up Parker Dumont. You know what I'm saying? We're always going to big him up. But I think there was times in that game where I'd like to see some screen passes to Birdine. I like to see them open up something. Like there was a play where Jay Mills would have walked into the end zone had that throw not been overthrown.
Mhm.
There was just times where I felt like Parker was pressing too much and not showing the calmness and the awareness that we're accustomed to of what we saw in the scrimmages.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and, and that was the only thing for me. Like I really, he's a field general. I love
Oh,
the
love
kid.
Parker. Love
Like yeah,
Parker.
he's the guy for the job. He's the guy for the job. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um,
And let's see when we're having this conversation 11 weeks from now of
that's
how
all I'm
much
saying.
improvement is going to show.
That's and
From
I think you're gonna
yeah.
see. I think you're gonna see a different Parker Dubon once we open up that playbook a little bit more. We are a power running team.
Mhm.
Like let's not forget what we are.
Mhm.
But in order for West to get where they need to go, they've got to utilize that RPO. They've got to use that play action because if you get Parker out in the open field, he's going to make a play. Now,
Yes, he is.
he's got to protect the ball.
Yeah.
You got to protect the ball. Like,
Mhm.
and that goes for the team. What? How many fumbles? That
Well,
person?
right now, I mean, listen, you had two more at the beginning of the Clinton game that were in
Clinton
deep in
game.
Clinton territory. And so realistically, you've had 4 or 5 key fumbles that could be points and have also generated points for the other team, like that seven
Yeah,
nothing. So yeah.
yeah.
And preach right here. Merritt says it best. We need a passing game. Burdine is a weapon. And Burdine
That's
was
all we're saying.
unbelievable. I hope he wins player
That's
of
all
the
we're
week.
saying.
He had a 95-yard touchdown kickoff return. He had a
Yes, he did.
48-yard punt return for a
We
touchdown.
got the 48-yard punt return
We
on
got the
video.
48.
We
Yeah,
we
and I've
got
still
that.
got to
We didn't get the
post those.
95.
Yeah, we didn't get the 95. He had 6 tackles. He had an interception. I mean, he was all over the field, and this is what I was talking about. He was going to be like what Six Horde was last year. He
He
is,
is the
but he's
playmaker.
himself. He's Antoine Burdine. Bodine Jr. though, and he's in
the
that role. He can do
playmaker.
anything. Absolutely.
And that's one thing I like about Bearden. Bearden is the one guy that you look at on this team and say that guy's a playmaker. McAllister is a playmakers.
Yes.
Those guys got to see the ball. Messiah Wren, they have to see the ball at least 8 or 9 times. Like, you got to find a way to get the ball. And Mills is working his ass off to get open. And you know what I'm saying, the passes just aren't hitting them in stride. Like Jay Mills as a target, but you know, we can get more into this. So let's bring Shane on.
Because he's jumping. Like even though he's got one leg, I can see him kind of like hulking up in the back or whatever, like he's about to throw up 400 pounds bench press. So we got to get him on. I know he's got a lot of thoughts and so forth, but without further ado, got to bring him on. My favorite father of the year, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. Can cook like anybody's business in the kitchen. He'll even fix your electrical socket if you need help there too. My man, the coach, as he's named by Parker Dubon, Shane O'Mac, our stats guy. Shane McGee, what is up, babe?
What's up, fellas? What's up?
Clap it up. Clap it up.
Glad we're all back together. Hope everything.
I like how we got the blue, red, blue combination.
We do. We got some West colors going on.
We got the West colors going on.
I had to change shirts because today was picture day for my team, so I was in my coaching attire. And came home
good. So yeah. You know, I love what Merritt wrote there. Never met a Wren that wasn't a playmaker. You know, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, it was brother, and then you've got Messiah now, and Messiah's doing his thing at the running back position. I'm telling you.
Man, as y'all saw in the group chat,
I like what Messiah is.
As y'all saw there in the group chat,
I like what Messiah.
There's a certain sports broadcaster that definitely watches our show because every key that I stated for Bearden was brought up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Every single one. I watched the game from home, and everything he was saying were literally words out of my mouth. Man, give us props.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, man, I started this show with some fire and everything like that because, listen, I wouldn't be a fighter. I wouldn't be the stallion if I wasn't. People coming at me saying I was afraid to have a show because we lost. I mean, you walk in my shoes of the week I had last week or whatever with a real family emergency, then we can talk. We can even meet out back if you'd like, honestly. But
like people thought we weren't coming on because we lost. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Like, I was going to go live that night from their stadium if I needed to, honestly, you know. I even went on there and gave them props. Can I also say this, Shane, by the way? I'll give Bearden props right now. You know who beat us? It wasn't your freaking transfer or anything like that. It was the guys that were homegrown Bearden guys. Kai Ironside had double digits. Drew Parrott making plays. The guys that were actually Bearden Bulldogs home and grown, not the ones that were brought in. And
we beat ourselves.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we had turnovers. Yeah. We spot you 13 points.
Yeah.
Here's what I say: if you play that game again, it's a different outcome.
It is.
It's a totally different outcome. Like, let's say Dubon hits Mills on that post play.
It's over.
He's walking in the end zone.
Yep.
Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's just one play. There were countless times in that third quarter where we didn't score any points.
Nope.
We didn't put up any points. We controlled the entire third quarter to not score.
Can I tell you this? That was where it was lost because we had all the momentum. And Shane, I'm going to tell you this. I was there and I saw Bearden have no fire coming out of that locker room at second. They were beaten. And I'm going to tell you this. When you couldn't convert 2 3rd-and-1s in your own territory and punted the ball and gave them the opportunity, if we even get on that drive, it doesn't go to overtime. I'm just saying that you've got to convert with that badass offensive line. It's mano-a-mano, and you need to get that 1 yard when it's there.
Bearden's defense showed up. I mean, led by Kyle.
They did.
Boston and Ethan. Like, those are guys like I know. And I mean, 3 of them are captains on that team right now.
Yeah.
And the other one's Drew. And he's on offense, but And props to those my boys. I've watched those kids grow up and develop.
Yeah.
My daughter's got bragging rights now because that's her school.
Mm-hmm.
So she was talking a little bit of shit, rightfully so. But and you can't lead points on the field. You can't dominate a whole quarter when a team comes out dead and then be like, oh well. Now here we are, triple overtime. Like I did not expect a triple overtime game. I knew it was going to be a close game.
I didn't expect triple. We shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been in. This is my thing. All credit goes to Bearden. Phenomenal team, phenomenal coach. You played the better game. Let's go. Let's take a deeper dive into this Bearden West game before we get to Clinton. Let's take a deeper dive. So. As we take this deeper dive into the game, do we remember when was it Bearden that threw the interception so that we got the ball last?
Oh yeah, right at the end of the game where they could have just kicked the ball in regulation. I mean, your boy Jack Keith made a hell of a play. Jack Keith makes one of the better plays, but shout out to AD. Paul Ramiro, he told me this. Jack Keith is the first person to wear 0 and got an interception wearing 0 for West High. That's never historically. So we're driving the ball down, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't once we got that penalty on the late hit when they hit Parker out of bounds and it was too excessive and necessary references, it got us to the 31-yard line. Go ahead.
Right. I love Coach Brown. I think Coach Brown is a phenomenal coach. Mm-hmm. I think he's a phenomenal coach. Were we trying to win the game with the pass, or were we out of the range for the field
Pete
goal?
Rogers for Pete Rogers, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are we out of his range? Because we get the field goal, game's over.
Game's over.
We're walking home. We're feeling good.
You had to be out of range at that point, right?
Well, I also throw this?
If he's out of range, and then we threw a pick, right? But I mean, at that point in the game, let's just say that interception. What if that was a pick 6? Yeah. Because there was no. I mean, you're right. It could have gone so many different ways. It's a bunch of ifs, and if was a bottle of fifth, we'd all be drunk. That's right. Well, here's the other thing too. I'll give you one even better, Two-Pair. There was 9 seconds still left on that clock. And why didn't we do a little pass to Burdine, a little post pattern? Maybe it gets you to the 21. You still had one timeout. Stop it with 1 second, and then get your kicker out there, and maybe you're in Pete's range. That's or what whatever. I'm saying. If you're not there, we just didn't get in Pete's range, and that's why I was saying to myself. I heard Pete hit a 45-yard field goal the day before. So if it's at the 31, what does that put it, Shane? Is that at the 47-yard line or? Yeah. So it would have been right there. It would have been right there. So,
you got to think about how hard they're rushing him. What's Bearden bringing up against it?
Yeah. I mean, does Bearden even try to block it? Do they rough him? See, that's another thing. What if that happens?
All the years I've been over there, Bearden's always been good on their special teams and their coverage and their rush. So, you've got to be on point with your blocking assignments when it comes to them rushing. That outside edge will rush, and they blocked a lot last year. So, you put all that in perspective.
Shane, I'll tell you this. You have a good point because West have an extra point blocked on that right side against Clinton. So that's why the score was 37-3 as opposed to 38, just to let you know. So you have a point there that could have been a factor as well. I mean, I'm going to say I go to the overtime. You held them to a field goal, and you had 2 downs from the 3-yard line, and maybe, just maybe, mano-a-mano, your offensive line buries their defensive line. And, if you can't get 3 yards in 2 plays, then here's to you. I'm sorry, But, and then, what was key, when did the fumble? Was the fumble in the third over OT? Oh, the second. When Parker fumbled, when Parker got hit and got
Yeah, when was
fumbled,
that
that was the
fumble?
second overtime. That was the second overtime because what happened was we got the ball and Parker got hit really good. I mean, he took a hit and he fumbled. Bearden recovered it. And Bearden gets the ball,
Mhm.
goes all the way down to the 1, and then they missnap the field goal, and that's what
That's
allows them to go
right.
to third overtime. Bearden
That's
could have
what got us
ended
in
it
the third.
right then and there
That's what I'm saying.
on
It was
1 yard
so many
line.
chances. There were so many
Yes,
chances for this game to be over. Game should have been over in regulation.
it should have
Like
been. Should have
it should have been over in regulation. But I look at it like this. I feel that losing to Bearden was the best thing that could have happened to this team. I know that
Yeah,
sounds
I agree with
funny,
that. I
right?
agree with
It's
But
the eye opener. It's the eye opener. It's
Yeah.
like, here's what we need.
it's the eye
that.
opener.
You ain't invincible.
But are we as alumni, as people that cover the school, as people that we're at every game, we're at, and not just football, basketball. We're at a lot of these games, right?
Mhm.
And one thing I want to say is these kids play their hearts out,
They
and
did,
these
man.
coaches put them in position to win. And we're not talking bad about the players. We got to give our analysis of what we see from game to game,
Mhm.
right? And I think I told you, Stallion, and I'll tell Shane too. Like I feel like we put the target on the hunter. We are that. Like Rebels with a Cause was started because of them winning the second state championship.
Mhm. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like while we started the first podcast, like our first few episodes, we were on our way to a state championship.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
if I'm correct, right? Like
Actually, we had just won it. We had just won it. We had
we had
just won
just
it. Yeah.
won it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
when people say like, well, you guys got a podcast about the school, you go to all the scrim, yeah, because we've earned the right to do that
Mhm.
because we've won. Now, if West wasn't winning and we're doing a pod, yeah, that's kind of weird. If we're
Mhm.
doing a podcast on a team that hasn't won state or a team that's not competing, we're doing it on a team that competes
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
state titles.
Yeah.
You
Can I
know,
also throw
so
something? Can I also throw something
mhm,
else out there? By the way, and I'm not
yeah.
going to ever mix words with a child or anybody that's under the age of
Oh,
18.
absolutely. Yeah,
But I
yeah,
will
yeah,
say
yeah,
this:
yeah.
I absolutely love the fact that it took this show to motivate somebody to actually want to win that game for Bearden. And it's like, dude, it's Bearden West. You should be wanting to be motivated without
You should be
some 40-year-old
motivated.
broke down has been. And that's what I am, man. I'm a
Yeah,
40-year-old broke down has been, okay? And so forth.
yeah,
I
we're
had my
done.
time in the sun. I
We're
had
we're
my time in the
done.
sun.
All
You
we're
should
doing
want to go
now,
and run through a brick wall to beat West or beat Bearden whenever you're on. You don't need some guy telling you or whatever
right?
like that.
And,
That's
and the
that's
thing
ridiculous.
is,
So
and the
yeah,
thing
I
is,
mean,
guys, like we were good in our respective sports. It
yeah.
isn't a bunch of guys who didn't play for their school.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not those guys. We
No.
we actually
We
we
put the blood,
play.
sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when dudes say, it's crazy to me, like 40-year-old men are talking about 18-year-old and 17-year-old. Well, guess what? They've been doing that
16.
since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like those same 40-year-olds when we were in school did the
Mm,
same thing to us, whether it was in
exactly.
basketball, whether it was in baseball, whether it was in football.
Mm-hmm.
We had to take the brunt of what was said by those people. They didn't have the social media like it is now, where
It was
it,
said to our face.
Yeah.
it was said to our face, right? And then I look at a school like Austin East,
Mm-hmm.
and let me say this. You may be going through some bad times right now, but that's the guy that you need in charge to get you
Man,
where you need to be.
Give him 3 years. Give
I
him
Give
had,
3 years.
exactly. Give
I
him
mean,
3 years.
look at Miami. You want to bring up Miami? Mario was getting his ass kicked by Middle Tennessee State. It took 3 years to get rid of cancers and program to get and bring in the guys that you can bring in. I
You
mean,
brought in you guys.
You
we
guys.
bring in
Yeah.
W guys.
W guys.
We
That's
bring
right.
in W guys. And that's why, like, I look at some of the stuff on Facebook when I saw like the AE alumni saying what they're saying. I get it. I've been there. I've been there with my school. I've been there with our basketball program.
You've got to
and now
you have to give it time. You can't expect immediate success.
But you know what, Shane? It really takes a community. Like, look at what we created and cultivated to where, man, I would have never thought that I have a personal conversation with Jay Mills at his age. I wouldn't think that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that
or whatever. Yeah,
or
exactly.
Parker Dubon. Like, I wouldn't have thought that. But our job is to make sure that we're being positive role models to get those kids to understand, hey, look, we're passionate about the school we went to.
That's right.
And we're here for you to give you the guidance to push you. Because I wish we had the community, like, we didn't have a podcast about our team. We didn't
have the community like we have now. Like, God, I mean, I truly think if we had the community that West has now when we all played, all of our respective sports, things would be a lot different.
20 years, we'd be Maryville and Alcoa. That's what we would be. If we had that back then, we would be them. But we're still the new kid on the block. I want everybody to realize that we're still the new kid on the block. And I'm going to tell you this. You go on Coach T, all these people, these internet tough guys go on there and criticize West for losing to Bearden. Like Jamie Farley just said, and that's the Bearden team that lost by 2 to Alcoa and should have beat them. Okay, it's not like we lost to some crap team or anything like that. Shout out to Farley. Absolutely. So, yes.
And all it was a missed tackle.
Yes,
that cost them the game because they went up. They scored. I can't remember what the final score was, like 24-20.
24-22, because actually Jones went for 2. Jones went for 2 in the win. And
because Drew ran it in.
Drew ran it in because their quarterback got hurt. Mississippi got hurt. So
but
I don't blame him.
She told me she's like, he just made the tackle. Game was over. It was 14 seconds. I think I got field goal range.
I mean, it's not like it's like you said. Look, West lost to Bearden. Bearden is a contender for 6A. Okay,
if they get through Maryville, like they did last year, Bearden makes a deep run. I think Bradley Central's lost too many players.
Yeah, they're not good this year. They're not as good as they were last year.
They're not as good as they were last year.
Oakland would be in their way, but here's the thing: they would have to go play Oakland in Murfreesboro if that was the case.
Yeah.
If Bearden would have to go to Murfreesboro. So
Unless they run the gauntlet and then they control the division and force them to come.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing, like you said too, Pear, we're going to grow from this loss. I've already seen gains from that loss of how the game went against Clinton. Yes, could we have scored more points? Sure. But we still had some turnovers, but at least it's stuff to work on. Now, when you get to Farragut this week, that's going to be an opponent that is looking, and they are hungry for a first win. Maybe they even feel, even though it's not a region game, that they need this game to keep their season on track of the goals that they have. But for West, this is another 6A opponent, another rival that you need to go out there and really
handle business.
Handle business. It's serious business.
I mean, Farragut lost to Dobbins Bend, which was a region game for them. And it was a close game. Yeah. Farragut is on the right path, and West is going to correct the mistakes of the turnovers. The turnovers are what's going to kill them. You can't turn the ball over on teams like that because Farragut got something to prove. They're looking for that first win, but they still got. That's a good team. They do good in 6A. They had a rough year last year, but they're Farragut. You have to respect that team.
Absolutely. Can I also talk about
a bad Farragut team? I've never, in all my years of football, my whole life, I've never seen a bad Farragut team.
No, No,
Never.
there's
Never from super midgets to high school. I never saw a bad Farragut.
I'm just going to say this. They're going through a transition. Yes, it's from father to son, but it's a transition. There's a difference between the guy that's been on the sidelines for like 40 something years, it seems like, and now you've got, now you've got the son who, yes, ran the offense, but at the same time, they're still trying to get their groove on, and it's not like they've played an easy schedule either. They've lost to Dobbins Bennett. They've lost to Powell, who's a contender in 5A. We all know about Powell because they're going to be in our way.
Their jamboree game against Fulton was tight.
Yep.
And Fulton looks good this year.
Yeah, so I'm just
Fulton
saying
looks surprising this year too.
Well, that's the difference. They're getting coached up, and here's the thing: like Central,
and they got the guy. They got the guy that needs to be the coach there.
They did.
They got the guy.
Just like Kevin Lane at Central. They
like
lost
Kevin Lane at Central. You got the guy.
But they were only down by 3 to Maryville in that first half. It's just that Maryville had the depth and everything to wear them down in the second half. But Central hung in there. I know the score doesn't look good, 31-0, but it wasn't like it was 31 points at halftime. That was over a course of 4 quarters. So Central's improved with Kevin Lane. So I'm just saying that a lot of these schools have to be patient, just like we were with Lamar, because Lamar's first couple years were tough because of what he had to clean up from the Herrick years or what have
you. That's the other issue that, like, from the coaching world that I know of and the way communities are, a lot of these communities will not give a coach time to develop and set up the program. They do not. Being over here in Carnes, they run through coaches like crazy.
Yep.
Coach Taylor was there for a while, and he stepped down on his own merit. And Carnes has had a pretty good season so far. But just speaking from like areas I've been around, it's just like you got to give the coaches time. And a lot of these communities do not do it. They expect instant gratification the second you get somebody in there. It's like that's not how football works. You've got to build up the program. You've got to control it. You really have to control it from your middle school level up just to make sure. And like we run the same plays that the high school runs. Like I can sit on the sideline and be like, oh, wait, this is what we run here. This is what we run here. Ours is just a little bit dumbed down because the kids are a little bit younger, but it's the same concept. You start teaching these kids the concept early of what you're trying to do, it builds your program all the way up. And I know West is heavily involved with their youth program.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It starts there and it goes up. They're ready to play when they get to high school. You were at the Clinton game, and I wanted to ask you something. How awesome was it to see? Shout out to Big O, by the way, because I want to shout out his favorite player, Wyatt DeRoche. I said to Wyatt after the game, shout out to my boy Wyatt DeRoche. I said to him, Sackmaster, you the punt blocker now, man. That's what he had 2 blocked punts in that game.
2 blocked punts.
Hey,
you're not gonna find a better interior lineman. Also, we need to give a shout out to Stephen Dink Johnson. I want to say you got to love Stephen Dink, but his son is on the team.
Yeah,
and that's another generation of a West High Rebel.
Yep.
Yeah. And he loves the show. I told him we need to get him on the show because he did play at West.
Yeah.
I want to say he
late 90s?
I want to say was he class 98 or 99?
Yeah, he might have been.
I want to say Dink was class of 98.
If he's me on Facebook, we'll get you on, bud. We'll get you on for sure.
Yeah.
That's even special that it's like 2 generations. I would have loved to have played at Miami Edison like my dad did, and so forth.
Right.
But I don't live in Miami no more, so that's special that, and Shane, wink, 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 your son playing at West. I'm just throwing it out there. So, but anyway, because you're the dad of the 3 of us. So that's the thing.
We've had that conversation on what will happen.
Yeah.
We've had that conversation. Relay the message.
Yeah, but it was just awesome to see West against Clinton, showing it on the special team side of it with those punt blocks, the returns
the
by
punt
Edge
return.
109. Oh my God.
They
kept
running,
kicking to him. They kept kicking to him. I was
kept kicking to him. But it for me, it was the running of Messiah Wren as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was like once we had the returns and then you get the ball to Wren, What was the last touchdown? Was that the last touchdown? Was Wren or was it Bearden?
I think it was
Bearden may have scored the last touchdown.
And that's what had the running clock. I mean, you had a running clock because the margin is 30 points. It used to be 35. It's now been 30 points going on the second year. So the minute that you're up by 30 points, it's a running clock in that third and fourth quarter.
That game went by quick.
It went by quick. And it even started late because of the sun. The heat. It started late because of the heat.
I was out of that stadium by 2 minutes left on the game clock. Like there was nothing else West could have done. I want to say Harrison got a big gain on a keeper.
Yep.
Where
he got a first down. He got a 10-yard first down.
He had a 10-yard first down. Clinton's just not a good football team. You know what I mean? Like I felt bad because,
like I said earlier,
whoever West played right after that Bearden game was going to get that. Yeah, they were going to get that. And what I really like, I like the aggressiveness of the defense only holding the 3, but there was times where the defense got to make some of those turnovers. There were batted balls down in the.
There was an interception that was dropped. I mean,
an interception that was dropped.
Stuff to work on.
But all in all, that's the type of game you got to have after you lose to Bearden. You gotta have one of those games where it's like, look, we're mad and we're gonna take it out on somebody, and sorry it had to be you, Clinton. Mm-hmm. It just is what it is.
Well, and I'm going to tell you this, not to criticize the other 5A teams right now, but right now, I'm looking at teams that are going to be in your way when you have those matchups. And not necessarily Clinton, but I look at, a Lenore City that lost on a very controversial ending towards Loudon, 7-6. And, Lenore City's in that region. Oak Ridge is, now Oak Ridge had their bye week last week, and now Oak Ridge has 9 straight games, and they've got Powell this week. So, who's going to be good between Oak Ridge and Powell? That will tell you what West might be facing in the playoffs. Sevier County's having a nice year. They beat Jeff County 35-17, so they're 2-0. So Sevier County's a team you might face in the second round or the third round.
We know the history of Sevier County and West.
Yes, we do.
It dates all the way back to the year of our Lord of 2000.
Yes, it does.
It's been a 24-year
off and on
battle. Like, for some reason, West would see Sevier County in the district back in the days of PJ Bearden, of that state. They got a state championship.
They did with Joey Matthews. Yep. So
Joey Matthews.
Yep, they did.
I think PJ Bearden was on that team, but I want to say he was either a sophomore or junior.
He would have been a sophomore on that team. So
and he was on the team that broke the West Hearts in the regional game of 2000 of the team that won the district.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of history with Sevier County, like Sevier County
sports.
In football and basketball. Also got to talk to Coach Eggleston Friday at the game, and you want to talk about a pumped guy. Like I think with his coaching and his demeanor, we're looking at a team that could be state contenders. Kevin Jack looks incredible. Like, if you want to see the most improved player from year to year, I think he's gonna be the guy. And there's nothing much more we can say about Devin Martin and Reese Clark and this group. We got 10 seniors.
Yep. 10. And I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be here before you know it. We're already in September. October, they roll the ball out. So,
the sophomore class is so talented.
Yeah.
Like, the sophomores might not get any playing time. The juniors, they may see a lot of tick, like Robert Schuler coming back. Of course, that senior group is 10 guys deep. Like, you can bring a Malik Wilson off your bench. You can bring a Mike Nelson off your bench. You got Reese Clark, who's playing out of his mind this summer. Jalen Hill, who looks like he's ready to be one of the top guards in the city. Like, this team is for real, but it's the younger guys. Sean Smith, DeMarcus Bullard. Those guys are really getting it. Dave Sanders, Kalu Fofana, like the Prince.
They're
Going to be deep. They're going to be deep and nasty because Garrett Birch ankle is 100%.
Nice.
Like, he's lateral movement. He's the best shooter in the county. We have 3 of the best shooters in the county on one team.
Yes,
and I don't know how are we going to get those 3 guys on the court when you got Reese Clark, who's not a bad shooter himself. Devin Martin can extend the range. I just want to see what the difference
is. When Jalen's on. I mean, when
Jalen's on, he's the best guard in the city.
Yep.
And he can hold that title now with so many guys going to different schools. You don't have Shane over at Austin East. He's down in Florida, and he's about to be a top 5 prospect. And hell, he might be coming back to UT once they get rid of their guard play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So basketball right now, I like what Coach Eggleston had to say. I really think he's the right guy for the job. I didn't really see, you know what I'm saying? I didn't see reason why we should shift, but hey, it is what it is. I love what Coach E does and what he brings to the table, and just his persona and demeanor. The dude doesn't get rattled. You're not going to see him get a technical.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, there's a reason why he got it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see him put us in a position not to win. He's putting us in a position to win. And that's why, like, talking to him during the Clinton game, just getting so, you know, I've known him for a decade now. And I really think, you know what I'm saying, we've got the talent to be where we need to be. So
shout out to Kerry. Hope everyone's doing well. Good bounce back for the boys this past Friday night. The line has looked good. Merritt talking about football. Just want to get to the chat box real quick. And saw on the T, Bearden signed a new lineman. I don't know what that's about.
Awesome.
Bearden signed a new lineman. So
good for them, man.
There's no telling. There's no telling with them. So yeah. Well, you know, in basketball is
posts that were posted after the game by former players' parents. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
Without putting names up there.
We won't. So you know, so we won against Clinton, and now it's Farragut, and it's going to be there. What are your guys' thoughts? I don't want a score prediction. I just kind of want, what do you think about West traveling to Farragut this week? It's another 6A opponent out of the region. You know, it's going to be a battle. Farragut desperate for a win. West needing to continue, because here's the thing. West right now, after this week, has Maryville next week at home. It's going to be the 5-star preps game of the, not 5-star preps, I'm sorry. It's going to be the Russell Biven game of the week from Channel 8, rather, and so forth, their thing. So there's going to be a lot of media attention for that Maryville game next Friday. But the boys have to stay focused this week against a rival. Shane, what's your thoughts on Farragut and what West needs to do to get it done this week against the Admirals on the road in that environment to welcome their new coach?
Hostile environment. You got to stop the running backs. You got to keep them in down and distance. Farragut will find a way. They've always got good quarterback play. They've always got good receiver play. They've always got good running backs. That defense can be hit and miss at times. I mean, they took it to Dobbins Bennett, lost there. You got a receiver averaging 124 yards right now. The rushing game isn't there, so you're really going to control that run game. 124 yards is a lot in the receiving. So you got to lock him down, force him to run the ball. Their running game is not there. They're averaging under 40 yards a rush, or 40 yards a game right now when it comes to rushing. So, I mean, DB's got to play where they are. We've talked about the DB play that across the middle. You've got to watch that. That's probably where they're going to make their money there. Make those corrections there in the secondary. Make sure your linebackers are covering that middle as well, and keep their linebacker from making plays.
I'll tell you this: last year they got a lot of passing touchdowns and yards on through the air. I think they almost had 300 yards of offense through the air last year, and that's what made that shootout so fun. But realistically, if our defense can get to the quarterback and not give up those big passes, and we can control the clock on the ground, running the ball like Powell did, because Powell, ran it last week with Deuce and Connor Wheeler. He was back in action after having to serve that 1-game suspension. So realistically, I look for West to, do what they need to do on the offensive side of the ball. I would like to see the passing game more involved if they can, because teams are just going to load up the box if we can't really generate a balanced offense. And I know we're capable of it. We've got the athletes, we've got the quarterback, we've got the line. It's just about executing it. But we've got to take care of the football. We cannot start off with fumbles in the first quarter. We got to protect that ball, and we've got to cause turnovers. That defense does a great job keeping everything in front of them, but if they can get some balls to go their way and get really good field position and dominate special teams again with the punt blocks, it should be another victory for West.
The secondary looked a lot better against Clinton. I think we only gave up a few big plays, but there were none of the plays that were leading to scores. But Clinton has a phenomenal wide receiver. Yeah, I feel sorry for him because there's not a lot of.
He's the only one that stayed. Everybody else jetted and went to other teams.
Out.
He stayed. Yeah. I mean, good props to him. So senior as well. But yeah, I think that West should take care of business this Friday, and obviously, hopefully, the guys that are dinged up after these first 2 games, get healed up. I also want to give a shout out to my guy Cam Leggett. I thought that he had gotten hurt pretty badly in that Bearden game there at the end, but he had a phenomenal game this past week, and I was praying for him, and I'll continue to pray for him, like I told him I would. That knee holds up and so forth. So
you definitely need a leader like that on your defense.
Oh, I love him.
The plays he made in that Bearden game, he goes down. We didn't recover, and I want to say Drada didn't play against Clinton.
Drada was out. Yeah, Drada didn't play against Clinton. There were a couple guys that were nicked up. I mean, that Bearden game was a war. Missing. That Bearden game was a war on the field, and you had a short week because from Saturday to Friday it was a short turnaround time. You didn't even have
it was a short turnaround of a week. Yeah, it was definitely a short turnaround of a week.
So, I think the issue that we're going to have this year is we don't have a bye week till after Alcoa.
Oh, I know it's rough.
Yeah. Maryville's I think Maryville's going to be a tough game, and Alcoa's going to be a tough game. You got the break between Anderson County, but it's a short week because it's another rivalry Thursday game.
Yeah. Let's see here. Carrie, miss you guys too. Love you guys. Let's see here. Merritt, cover the post route. Farragut has killed us 2 years in a row on those post routes. Preach, Merritt. Preach.
Man, thank you. Yeah, Merritt. Hey, Merritt. That is, gosh. I can recall like watching some footage of those games, and I'm like, how are we getting killed on the post route? And it's like these shallow crosses. It's like there's a guy going underneath, and then another guy going above the underneath on the post route.
You throw those level concepts, it opens up somebody real quick, and somebody that deep pass because the linebackers bite, that corner bites, the safety bite down, and next thing you know, it's right there.
And the linebackers
I'm glad he did it.
And the linebackers also need to not only stop the run, but also watch for those pass plays to the running backs out of the backfield and the tight ends, because it does get that short passing game going too.
And you know who has impressed me each game? Riley Manning has impressed me.
Oh.
Riley Manning has impressed me. Davis Neely has really impressed me.
My number 45, my guys.
Yeah, and Jack Keefe is probably one of the better players in the city that people don't give enough credit to. He's a stud at linebacker.
I'll tell you
But
this: Lavelle and
Riley
JP
Manning,
Peace. Lavelle and
JP
JP
Peace has
Peace.
made plays.
Look
Lavelle
who
has
they've
made
had to
plays.
step in for: Anderson Smith and
Mm,
the great Ryan Scott, who did dress out this past week. By the way, he ran through the T and everything. Number 50, our own Ryan Scott in a Tennessee uniform. We'll talk about that in a
that's
minute. Keep
beautiful.
going, too,
That's
Bear. So
beautiful.
yeah,
But no, the guys that have impressed me, man, like Davis Neely impressed me in the Clinton game, the Bearden game, but Riley Manning, he's a playmaker.
he is.
He's another guy like on that defense. I feel like that secondary's got cleaned up, and then McAllister made plays against Clinton as well. Um, and you got to get the ball to our playmakers. Get
Yeah,
the ball to those guys in space. There should be a bunch of packages to get the ball to Messiah Wren, Birdine, Ray, McAllister. Those are going to be the guys that are going to make and break that offense going forward.
I agree.
Keep using the RPO action with Parker Dumont and letting him run and get to that second level. But we also got to protect the ball.
Mhm.
That's been the main emphasis for us. If we're going traveling down to Kingston Pike in that hostile environment, they want to win just as bad as we do, and it's gonna be a war. So strap up on your helmets, get ready to play hard nosed football.
Exactly, and to your credit, you named a couple of other playmakers. We still need to see also Abel Ancelot and Detroit Patterson too. So we need to see what they bring to the table as
Yeah,
well.
I got to see
So
those
we're deep.
guys, and
Yeah.
there's somebody we're missing. Was it Rodriguez?
Sergio had a good
And
tackle.
Goings got rolling
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. So Goins and Jalen Jack both did very well, and there was also a freshman running back who caught my attention. Hold on, I'm actually looking him up right now. Hold on one second. He got some carries. Raheem Lee. He is a freshman who got carries in that running clock. So Raheem Lee,
Mm,
and he looked pretty impressive too. But yeah, we played 7 running backs
I like
on
Goings.
Friday.
I love Goings,
Keelan
man.
Rucker had a good run or so
Yeah,
as
Keelan
well. So I
Rucker.
mean, the fact that you've got 7 guys that you ran the ball, 7 different carriers, not to mention Parker had a run. You mentioned Harrison with that 10-yard pickup that he got in backup
Yeah.
action. So it was
So
also
I
so
gotta ask a
yeah.
question: Is Garner on the squad? What position is Garner playing?
I at last I saw he was at wide receiver. And he was number 94, but I don't know if I haven't seen him really get out there and so forth. I mean, it's such a deep team with so many guys. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Corey Person, number 8. He got a couple of balls thrown his way that just happened to just be a little bit over the head. But Corey Person is a weapon, being
I
6'3",
feel we got to
168
get
pounds.
the we got to find a way to get the ball to Jay Mills. Like
Yeah,
it,
for
it,
sure.
it's a travesty if you don't get
Well,
that
and
guy the
Dominic
ball.
Davis, the big tight end, he also needs to,
Dominic,
get the
yeah,
ball
number
in throws
two.
too. There's so many
Why are we
guys.
not
Yeah,
running? There's so many guys on this team.
yeah,
There's so many guys on this team that can make plays, and I
yeah.
think that's tough on Lamar to get that many dudes on your squad the ball when there's only one ball to go around.
Mhm.
I understand he's probably like, look, trust me, with all the talent we have, yeah, there's gonna be some dudes that may not even get a catch thrown to them. They better be blocking like hell so Messiah
Mhm.
Wren busts a 30 to 40 yarder.
Well,
So
and that's the other thing too. Like I think more than anything, it's a great problem to have. It's something that we've talked about since the Gibbs spring ball. Deep we are, how many guys in the rotation, and like you said, there's only one ball to really go around, and it's a
mm,
great problem to have if there is, heaven forbid, injuries or guys getting hurt, like a Drada that's out. You put in his place, Abel Ancelot or Detroit Patterson or someone like that.
mm,
So, I think that it's still early in this season. these coaches, they know what they're doing. They've won these, and in them I trust. And I know that the boys are working their asses off every day to get better and better. And they've got a lot to play for. Let me just tell you this. I'll leave it with this before we transition to the college ball, because I know we got a lot to talk about college ball.
Mhm.
But I'm going to say this. You ask me 3 times on Sunday, any day of the week, do I want another one of these? And I'm talking the gold one, or do I want to beat Bearden? But if you tell me which one is more important, I want another gold ball in that glass case, baby. And I want the third one to go on this finger to go with his brothers. That's what I want more than anything. So that's my final thoughts on that. Yeah, need Ray to be Ray and Rucker the trucker. I like that. Rucker the trucker. So for sure. So yeah. Well, let's get on to transitioning from West Rebel football to college football is back. And Two Pair, you already kind of talked about Florida State, and they've been very disappointing, losing
Bad,
2
disappointed. I'm
games.
disappointed.
Yeah.
disappointed.
I mean, well, you know what? You're not the only one, though. And again, we know we talk about these preseason polls, and everybody can say, oh, this team here, this team there. It gives us something to talk about. But Florida State was number 10, and I just never saw DJ Ungalalungalale this bad at Oregon State.
Yeah.
I didn't see him that bad.
Uyunglele he's underachieved. He was the number 1 quarterback in the country, and he's not lived up to the expectations. You want to know why? He's still in college, and the guy that was number 2 was CJ Stroud, who's got Houston on the brink of being contenders for the AFC.
Yeah,
like that's like they just got the wrong quarterback. You didn't get. You should have gotten somebody. You should have kept Tate. You should have kept him. If you really wanted a quarterback. But no, my thing with Florida State is defensively, that defensive line is atrocious. They're getting beat up front. They got beat up front against Georgia Tech. They don't tackle well in space. Their linebackers and cornerbacks, secondary, they're not communicating well at all.
No.
Like you can just see it. And they've had a bad 2 weeks, but I tell you who's really undisciplined, and either one of those coaches would have been on the hot seat Sunday if one had lost. It ain't looking good in LSU.
Oh no. And we got fans.
Good.
We got buddies that are
3 years.
huge LSU fans. I mean, this is horrible.
3 years.
They haven't won an opener since Joe Burrow in the 2019 national championship. They've not won a season opener. So
they've gone 3 years of losing on prime time television.
Yeah, they have.
You lose 2 years in a row to Florida State. You kind of help them propel themselves. Then you're going up against Lincoln Riley, who's, if he would have lost that game, the chirping would have started.
Yeah, and they should have lost that game, to be honest.
They should have.
Yeah.
LSU was undisciplined, but when you look at it, Florida State dropping out of the top 25 as a team that was predicted 10th, it's gonna be a bad year in Tallahassee. Like it's gonna be a really bad year in Tallahassee.
I've got one for you, by the way. And Shane, please chime in on this too. By the way, do you know who I think? I think it's done at this point, unless they get another, Sunshine or somebody to walk in there. I think Clemson's done. I mean, they look completely outmatched, outclassed. Georgia's the standard. I'm not arguing that.
Georgia is the standard of college football. Georgia and Alabama.
Clemson.
At
no point did Clemson even scare Georgia. And Georgia didn't even have their top running backs playing. They would have put 50 on their ass if Etienne was playing, or Zamir or Roderick.
He refuses to accept NIL. He refuses to accept the transfer portal. He doesn't bring in players he needs. You've got, like Saban said, you got to pay to play at this point. And if you're not going to find the guy you need. These guys are going to go elsewhere. One where they can secure the bag too. Like, I mean, that's the main thing. You've got to secure. They're going to secure the bag. They're not going to go somewhere where the coaches are like, let's go find some high school kid. We got kids in the transfer portal that are leaps and bounds better. Like, yeah, you're going to fill in your rosters here and there with some high school kids. But with the day of the portal, come on, there's going to be kids that are playing your D2 schools, your lower schools that are going to get their stuff on film and they're going to move over to a bigger program. If he's not going to accept it, go ahead and be a assistant coach on some professional team and let somebody else come in at Clemson that's going to get them back to where they need to be.
Can I also throw this out there? Keep your
I'm
train
gonna
of
add
thought
this.
real quick, too, Pierre. Yeah, keep your train of thought real quick. The only reason I'm going to say this, and I agree with that, let's also throw this out there. The decline of Clemson is also because you got Josh Heupel recruiting in South Carolina now. You've also got Mac Brown at North Carolina recruiting South Carolina. And Clemson's not getting the dudes from Tennessee or Florida like they used to. They're staying home. They're going to Tennessee and they're staying with Miami and those teams.
Heupel has cut that pipeline off.
He has.
Cut that
Fulmer lived on that pipeline.
Yeah. But the thing with Dabo, because a lot of people expected Dabo to take the Alabama job once it opened up, and he chose to still look. He's got 2 national titles. You know that school hadn't won a national title since the 80s, right? So when you look at the way they are, you just got to realize to yourself that Clemson is fighting an uphill battle because they're not wanting to go with the way college football is now. College football, the way it is now, it is semi-pro. You are going to have to get that NIL money. You're going to have to get that alumni to give back. You're going to have to find ways to get a solid quarterback now is $1.5 million.
Do you know how much Miami paid for Cam Ward? 2.5.
A lot.
$2.5 million.
And he's
Cam
worth
Ward.
every.
And he was worth every penny.
Cent.
Every penny Cam Ward was.
You know what? Because Cam Ward came from Washington State, where he was winning. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like he was running away from the grind. He went for a better job and a better position to get himself into the NFL. Because when you look at that Miami team Saturday, they impose their will in the swamp. Yep. When you got Miami players telling the Florida recruits, don't go here.
It was dirty. Yeah,
I loved every bit of it. Because that's the Miami I remember.
Hey, two-pair. What about this? They were doing this, and they were thumbs down. They're the ones that have always been clowned with the U down. They were clowning them back and talking after every play. It felt like 20-something years ago, 30-something years ago, and it's good for college football.
And that's why, like, I'm glad when I saw this. Is Napier still Florida coach when they play UT?
Yeah, let me get that.
I'm gonna say the state of Florida. The state of Florida, when it comes to Florida and Florida State, they're not in the conversation right now. It is if it ain't the U, I don't know what to tell you because they the recruits
right now. The U.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry, UCF. I'm sorry, Florida International.
USF.
Miami
plays them in 3 weeks, by the way.
They're not on the radar. USF haven't been anything since Matt Goethe and JPP and George Selvey. That's the last time they were making some noise. Shout out to the great George Selvey and JPP.
The chat box.
Napier will be gone before Tennessee plays Florida.
Let me ask you this: do you think it's after the A&M game, because they'll beat Sanford this week, whether Lagway or Merritt plays? I mean, I really believe that basically it'll probably be the A&M game, because that's supposed to be the 3:30 ABC game next Saturday. That's going to be the big one. Kerry had a great point. Worst decision LSU made was letting Orgeron go. They
Absolutely.
basically pissed on a dude and didn't give him the opportunity. And he was a homegrown Cajun. I mean, you didn't give the
Homegrown
guy
Cajun
a
that
chance.
wins a title with
Oh,
probably one of the best. I'm going to say this. That LSU team might be top 5, one of the greatest college teams I've ever seen.
I'd go top 3. They were amazing.
Yeah,
on offense.
There's a couple of teams. That 01 Miami team might be one of the greatest I've seen, like, personally.
95 Nebraska.
95 Nebraska.
Yep.
Maybe what
95 Nebraska was on this 95 Nebraska team. Was that the team that went back to back?
Yep, it was the one that beat the Gators 62-24 in the Fiesta Bowl. Tommy Frazier, Lawrence Phillips, all them dudes were on that team. So
USC.
04 USC, absolutely.
USC,
they were nasty of what they did to Oklahoma.
Reggie Bush, Leinart,
Lindale
White.
Yep, that group for sure. So, but there's some teams that are definitely in that category.
Was Dwayne Jarrett on one of those teams?
Dwayne Jarrett was on the 04 USC.
He's on one of those teams.
19 breaking records and everything they did.
And you know what? I didn't want to go there. That 98 team is a special team that's near and dear to my heart, because they beat my nose. But that 98 team, when you look at the list of guys that went pro off that team, oh my God.
Yeah. No, they were special. They found ways to win. They were a team that found ways to win.
A team of destiny.
Yep. So, let me just tell you this. Merritt has a point. Clemson doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, the fact is they ran DJ out of town to get Cade Klubnik. I haven't seen it, guys. He sucks. He's terrible.
This is what I'm going to say. Clemson gave Georgia a game in the first quarter, the second quarter, and then you saw Georgia do what Georgia does. Mm-hmm. Georgia pulls away. Georgia showed why they are the stand. Alabama was the standard. Mm-hmm. But you saw pieces of Alabama become pieces of Georgia.
Yep.
Have you noticed the discipline Georgia has?
They do.
Tuck your shirt in. Mm-hmm. Put your mouthpiece in. The little things is why, like, if Kirby Smart's not the best college football coach in America, he's damn near close.
Listen, when Saban retired, it stopped being Nick's world that we were living in. We're now living in Kirby's world. So we're in Kirby's dreamland. We are in Kirby's dreamland. Video game reference right there. So
we are, man. We really are. Like, I will say that, like, Georgia's impressed me. Georgia's impressed me the way they reload on defense. It is amazing to watch guys that were backups become the stars, and they do it each year. For the last 4 to 5 years, they've been the best team.
Those dudes make it to the league. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles defense right now. It is Georgia.
They are the Georgia Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are.
Jordan
with Jalen Hurts running it. So
crazy, right? Crazy.
So, yeah.
With the
Jamie's
Oklahoma quarterback.
Well, Jamie's got a great comment, and we can segue a little bit. Let's talk about Tennessee. I don't care who the opponent is.
Yeah, let's do it.
I've seen Tennessee struggle with the Austin Peays of the world and teams like that. They took care of business. And look at this. And how did these powerhouses falling apart help Tennessee's recruiting? It helps tremendously. Look at the recruiting class Tennessee's putting together right now, and you've not even won anything significant yet. If you keep winning, and maybe
the only thing they won significant was SEC game. Like, one thing I will say about Heupel's got Tennessee in the conversation.
Yeah, he does.
Heupel's got Tennessee in the conversation, and that's all that you need to do with a university like bro. The facilities, we got them. The prestige, you got them. The community. You won't find too many people that aren't Vol fans in Knoxville unless they grew up fans of a different team once, you know what I'm saying? It just family. But the way they look Saturday, like Dante Thornton, who I thought was on a milk carton, showed that he was a baller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thornton's ability this week. I was like, oh, where has that been?
It was also nice to see Brew McCoy back out there after the horrific injury he suffered last year. That was nice to see. It was nice to see the defense actually playing defense. I haven't seen Tennessee's defense ball out like that since Chavez was here. I mean, that I'm just being serious.
You only play your best player 10 snaps.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're getting him ready for NC State, where he's probably going to play.
Oh, he's going to
play. He's probably going to play 50 to 60 snaps.
Can I tell you this?
He can't be the number one pick in the draft.
I might be a little bit overzealous, and the game is in Charlotte. It's going to be primetime 7:30 on ABC. But I'm going to tell you this. I watched NC State last week. They should have lost to Western Carolina.
Western Carolina.
They suck, man. And I think that Tennessee is going to beat them like a drum. The way that Miami beat Florida, I could see Tennessee doing that. And then you've got Nico announcing himself already in the Heisman conversation. I could be wrong. This. I don't know. But yeah.
You know what? North Carolina State got off to a bad start against East Carolina last year. They don't get off to a good start. When it comes to their first game, they almost lost to East Carolina last year.
Fair.
Very close ball game. If that game is played again, East Carolina would win that game. Western Carolina gave North Carolina State problems all the way up until the third quarter when NC State started to pull away. I got Tennessee by 2 touchdowns. Yeah, if they win, they should win. I got it by 8, but more so if you let Nico, don't give Nico time like that. Because if you give him time like that, did you notice when we were running up tempo, the difference between Nico and Joe Milton? It as much as I love Joe, as much as I love him, there was a processing aspect of making plays that we just didn't have. And I love Joe Milton. I think Joe Milton's a phenomenal athlete. There's nothing to take away from him. It's just in this offense, Nico processes more. He makes the plays. He makes the 1 read, 2 read, throw. It's out of there.
And it's on the money.
It's
accurate.
He's making pro-level throws. It's ridiculous what he's doing out there.
And he wasn't even really stepping into him, man. Like he was just like he threw it. It was like effortless, and it was getting to the guys. I mean,
22-28 for 314 yards in 1 half.
Yeah, and you know what?
I don't care who you're playing.
NC State, Torrey Holt ain't walking through that door. Mario Williams ain't walking through that door. Phillip Rivers ain't walking through that door.
Chuck Amato ain't walking through that door. Chuck
Amato. hey, Jericho Crotchery is not running through that door.
Torrey Holt.
Jericho Crotchery.
We'll name them all, damn it. We will. T.A. McClendon, the big running back.
Walking through that door.
He ain't walking through that door. Hey, listen, Merritt's hitting that line hard. 7.5 Vols by 16 plus. Kerry even says it. UT by 21, 48-27. Says NC State should have lost. Oregon should have lost. Let me tell you something. Oregon is the most overrated team in the country. Oregon.
I had Tennessee by 14, and they're picking it. Guys, I must be doing something right. I got Tennessee winning by 2 touchdowns.
I think Tennessee blows them out of the water this week. I really believe that. I really do. This Tennessee team is for real. So,
I think Tennessee scores over 40 this week.
Oh, without a doubt.
I got the Vols by 14. But the thing I like about this team, this is the deepest team Heupel's ever had. Like when you start looking at the guys at wide receiver, you got McCoy, you got Brazil, you got Nimrod, you got Thornton. Thornton Thornton, the last time we saw Thornton, he made a play and got hurt on the play he made against Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And then
What is
for him
this?
to,
Is this year 4 for Heupel? This is year 4, right?
yeah, it should be year
It's
4.
year 4. Year
Yep.
4.
Yeah,
So these are all his guys. I mean, this is
Yeah.
his team. So it
They're
makes
deep.
sense. The deepest
They're
team,
deep.
they know what to run.
Hooker start for a whole season, and then Joe started all last season. Yeah, this year 4.
Yeah. Yeah, because Pruitt
Yeah.
got fired during the COVID year because that was just putrid and it was done.
Man, that was
What
some of
an
the worst
embarrassment.
football.
What an embarrassment.
Yeah,
I don't know what
that
was
was
worse,
one of
Pruitt or the
No,
Bush.
5 years ago.
I
Saturday
don't know. Dooley was worse. Dooley was bad. Pruitt was worse.
Pruitt was worse.
Yeah, like Butch wasn't as bad as Pruitt.
You know what the worst thing is, though? I think you can remember Dooley's players, though, more than Pruitt's players. Like, I can name you all of Dooley's
I can't remember
players.
any of Pruitt. You know what?
That's what I'm saying, man. You don't know any of those dudes. At least we had Cordero Patterson and Rogers and all those guys. At least Tyler Bray. They all made an appearance. I mean,
hey, Tyler Bray's an underrated UT quarterback. By the way,
he is.
The team that defense was just horrible.
He can hit real quick. That Alston Sari defense was horrible for Tennessee.
Oh, they sucked. No, they were terrible.
The year that we had Justin Hunter, Rogers, Howard,
Cordero. Yeah,
man, that was a talented group of wide receivers too.
We had no defense at all.
We didn't. We had to outscore teams. I mean, and if the offense got stopped, they were done. I mean, shoot. So, yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, too. I like that Nico felt very comfortable in the up-tempo offense, and I just think that UT is better conditioned than NC State, and I think it's going to show on Saturday, honestly. So,
yeah, NC State left a lot to be desired, man. They left a lot to be desired.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So I know that a lot of these, credit to some of these teams that actually played teams with a pulse. I mean, here's the thing. Florida State was still playing an ACC conference opponent on that Monday night. They could have played Jacksonville State or somebody else, for that home opener. They're playing an ACC game. You got USC and LSU. You got Miami versus Florida. But my question is this. Alabama beat the hell out of Western Kentucky. You had Ole Miss put 76 on Furman. Mississippi State beat Eastern Kentucky. But shout out to Braden Latham, former West Rebel running back. He had over 100 total between runs and kickoff returns. So shout out to him, by the way. So,
man, I love it. Love it. My
Latham.
Man Butter.
So,
Butter. Shout out to my man Butterbean.
So what's the game of the week this week, fellas? Well, game day would lead you to believe that it's Texas and Michigan. But, guys, I'm going to tell you this. I think Texas beats the shit out of them in the Big House. I really believe that.
Michigan didn't look good against Fresno State.
They stink.
Michigan did not look good against Fresno. If there's any Michigan fans, I apologize when I say this, but they didn't look good against a lesser opponent. So Texas going into the Big House. Ugh.
Can I say this? It might be another 27 years before they win another national title.
Who's that? Michigan?
Michigan. They, it's been 97, 2024. So do the math. 27 years it might be before you win another one.
Hey, it was a minute. Like the last time they won, we were in middle school.
Yeah, I mean,
we were in middle school the last time Michigan won a national
Charles
title.
Woodson was winning the Heisman when that happened. Brian Greasy was their quarterback, and now Brian Greasy calls games on ESPN. So I mean, shoot. So
wasn't Brian Greasy an offensive coordinator for somebody?
He might have been, but he's really been more of a commentator for years.
He's been a commentator, but I felt like he was. I love Greasy. Brian Greasy. Brian Greasy was pretty good, man. He's just a winner though. He went to the
game manager. He wasn't anything special. He's just a game manager. So yeah.
I like what Curry Reeves said about NC State's O-line will not handle Pierce, and that our defensive line. The rotation of guys you can bring on that defensive line is wild.
Mm-hmm. It's about
you
time.
know what I'm saying? Like it's really refreshing to see them go that deep. And he's a quarterbacks coach. Look at that.
Quarterback's coach.
We're on it, man.
Yeah.
We're good. Hey, we're good at our job. Hey, we may not
We
look
know
like
stuff.
we may not look like we know our stuff, but I said he was a coach for somebody.
Yeah.
And he's a quarterbacks coach for Shanahan.
Yeah. Look at that. So.
But yeah, that's a big game. First, I think the big game, if we go NFL, my game of the week is, of course, going to be Baltimore and Kansas City. That's my game. The Packers and Philly. I could care less, but I like Jordan Love. I want to see if they can do the same thing on the road in Philly to open up a season. I don't know. I think Jalen Hurts and Saquon, they got a lot to prove, and this is a game where they got to prove it right there. So the game that I'm going to say is the game of the week for the NFL, I'm going with that KC Baltimore game. That's why it's opening up.
Yeah. You know your stuff, BT. I can help you guys with that from time to time. No, we appreciate that. No, we love the chat box has been very hopping tonight. Had a lot of viewers. Hey, don't be afraid to chime in there, guys. This is your all show.
Yeah, man.
Well,
this is your show.
I'll tell you this. I did want to get to this segment while I still had viewers kind of interested and so forth. I wanted to talk about my loser of the week, by the way. And
who's the loser of the week?
Yeah, no, you're going to find out real quick. So, all right. So the loser of the week has to be Direct TV. What in the world are you doing right now negotiating with Disney, who owns ESPN, who owns the SEC network, who owns the ACC network, and you basically said, we don't like your deal. And so the stream cut right before the LSU USC game on Sunday. So when you turn to ESPN, if you're a DirecTV owner like me, it says the stream is not going. We have not worked out a deal. Blah, 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 blah.
This is why I have Blue Live.
Okay, but here's the thing. Now you've got a point, Shane. Good for you. But here's my
question. DirecTV lost it right there.
How many bars have DirecTV? And
a ton.
A ton. They should all voice cancel and do this and make that deal go through. Because right now, I can't watch the Tennessee game on Saturday. I can't. Not at my house.
Damn, you got DirecTV.
First time DirecTV's done this whole screw up their negotiation deals and try to get a better deal. Like this happens a lot. Like it's like every other year with them.
Yeah.
It's
always before football season. And here's the thing. The SEC runs college football. So that's not just us. It's everybody. And now you've even got Texas and Oklahoma involved in this shit too. And some of those people have only satellite TV.
Especially
it's wild, man.
This year, yeah, like you just lost everything. You're taking out the biggest market in regions across the United States when it comes to football.
Yeah. I mean, CBS, their 3:30 game this year was West Virginia and Penn State against that Miami, Florida game at 3:30.
Man, let me tell you something. That was some poo. That was a waste of time watching West and Pat McAfee. You were one of my favorite people in the world, and I picked West Virginia to win just because, man, Pat got me he got me amped for West Virginia that I'm not thinking clearly that Penn State is the better team. Man, I got McAfee in. Like he McAfee'd me.
He changed his pick from Miami to Florida in one night. Why? Why?
And I love, bro, Pat McAfee is one of the reasons why I love sports and I do what we do.
Absolutely.
But Pat, you McAfee'd me. Like you ever go into picking wrestling matches, Stallion, and in your mind that Bret Hart should beat Roddy Piper, but there's Pat McAfee on the side of you telling you that Piper can win in WrestleMania. Like, you really think it's gonna happen, right? You really think it's gonna happen. God rest Roddy Piper so. But Pat McAfee, he's just McAfeeing you so much that you end up going with that team because it's like, bro, Pat McAfee believe it. I believe it too. And that's what he did. I ain't gonna lie. West Virginia pummeled.
Oh, they suck. And here's
They
the other
got
thing.
pummeled.
Can I
West
just say
Virginia
this?
got pummeled.
The only time you need to bet against Penn State, and I'm not trying to troll Penn State fans on here, is when they play Michigan and Ohio State. That's a guaranteed loss for them. But they beat everybody else. So Penn State is your solid 10-2 team that
Every
finds a
time.
way, every time.
Yeah.
They'll
They're
probably be a
10-2.
playoff team. They'll find a way. They'll find a way.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, they always do. You got
right
McAfee.
there. I got McAfee, bro. Like, sometimes we gotta quit getting McAfee. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Pat McAfee is wonderful. It's just he be McAfeeing. Like, he gets you, and
Shane,
he's just like.
Shane, could we say that CBS is also a loser of the week, year, decade? I mean, we all look forward to that 3:30 CBS on Saturday, even if it was the Vols or one other SEC. It didn't matter, And now it's ABC. You got to look. Like, for example, the game this week is Kentucky against South Carolina. By the way, I thought both teams should have lost last Saturday to Old Dominion and who Kentucky played respectively, but that's here nor there, I mean, but that's your 3:30 game. What's the Big Ten CBS stupid game of the week? I mean, honestly, because that's what you got now.
It is.
I mean, the Big Ten SEC game. I mean,
what is
the CBS game? Horrible.
I can type.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, man. Like, the game of the week. You want to know who the winner of the week was?
Who was the winner of the week? I'll take the loser of the week.
The winner of the week was the one and only head coach of UT men's baseball team. Tony Vitello was the winner of the week. How about the Pride of the Southland marching band with the shout out to Tony V? That was dope.
Oh my God, that was beautiful.
That was pretty cool.
That's pretty dope. That's the winner of the week for me. That's the winner. Actually, I got the player of the week is definitely the kid from West. I think he's still.
Oh, Antoine Bourdain was definitely player.
Antoine Bourdain is
without a doubt.
Like, I think he's still running for a touchdown.
I think he is still too. So,
like, that was electric.
Shane,
that was so electric, man.
Pull up some week 3 games for high school. Let's pick some week 3 games. Other than we've already picked West and Farragut, but we got Powell and Oak Ridge this week. You got Bearden and Anderson County, another slugfest. Poor Anderson County didn't even get to play last week because of the lightning delay up in Science Hill. That game got canceled for them. So, yeah. So that game didn't even happen because of the lightning delay for Anderson County. So,
man, that's tough.
But there's some big games. There are some big games this week. So I just wanted to make sure we highlighted them and picked them and had some fun with them. And also, I want to pick some college games too. So, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, this calendar. There we go. Let me find the calendar.
Definitely want to see these college games, but man, this.
Yeah.
I really like the way Nico played Saturday, man.
You're gonna like it on Saturday again, honestly. I'm not trying to discredit NC State, but I saw this look. He throws darts. It was effortless, and it looked like he was so cool as a cucumber for a redshirt freshman. Or was he even redshirted? I mean, is he a redshirt freshman? He is. He only played in the bowl last year, right?
Yeah.
So he's a redshirt freshman.
He played in the bowl game. Like, in the bowl game,
you're allowed 4.
You saw glimpses of it in the bowl game against Iowa. But man, like, I know Chattanooga's Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm. But they are going to be competing at the FCS level. They are top 10 FCS level teams. So, yeah.
I always look at your first game as in college, I look at your first game as a scrimmage because you really don't have a preseason. You don't do any of the inter squad. Like, you're never going to hear about Cal playing UCLA in an inter squad game, right? It's just not going to happen in college football. Too much money involved for that to happen.
For sure.
But you will see a Fresno State play Michigan. You will see.
My God.
What's that now?
Look at this. This is the CBS game of the week. Iowa State versus Iowa.
Can I say this?
Please.
Playing with Iowa State on that video game, I went 4-8. That is a tough program to win it, right?
Didn't Tennessee want their coach for a minute there or something?
If Iowa does not beat Iowa State, that lets me know that rivalry is bigger, and Abu Sama will go off for 150 yards rushing if Iowa State wins. Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, those guys have to be the playmakers for Iowa State to beat Iowa. I can't believe we're talking Iowa State versus Iowa, and I know these players.
Yes, you do. I'm props to you. I'm actually picking Iowa because Iowa wins more times than not, so I've got Iowa in that game.
And then I think Kirk Ferentz is not serving his 1-game suspension, so I think Iowa will win, but for Iowa State to win, Rocco Beck cannot throw interceptions. He can't. Like, Beck has got to be. He's got to be even keel.
Are you telling me that the 3:30 Notre Dame game is better than this game? Honestly, at NBC, I mean, look at this.
What is? Let me see this.
I mean, because you got that on CBS, you got the South Carolina Kentucky stinker on ABC. 3:30's got a weak lineup this week, in my opinion.
You know what? No. South Carolina's bad.
They suck. They should have lost Old Dominion, man. I'm telling you. They suck. So, yeah. They're terrible. Absolutely awful. Bad, I'm looking this up.
South Carolina is so bad. They're not. You know what? South Carolina could mess around and beat Kentucky, though.
They could.
They shouldn't. But shout out to my man Carolina Kane. You know what it is with me, brother. Much love to you. But I feel like Kentucky should beat South Carolina. I know my man is a South Carolina fan. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Carolina Kane, I-95 Mafia, all that. Much love. But this South Carolina team isn't the South Carolina teams of the old where they should beat Kentucky.
Yeah. Saying? There's no Steve Tannehill there, whatever his name was. So, yeah.
No Steve Tannehill, no Connor Shaw. You know what I mean? No
Spencer Rattler. Yeah. Hey, you know what? There's actually an interesting game at 3:30 on the ESPN2 channel. Cal at Auburn. Cal, now part of the ACC, has to travel.
Didn't Auburn beat Cal?
Last year they did.
Yeah. I think Auburn beat Cal last year.
Yep, they did. So,
but hold on, do we want to remember that Auburn was the same team that lost to New Mexico?
That's right.
New Mexico State.
That's right.
New Mexico or New Mexico State?
It was New Mexico State, actually. So, yep, it was. Yeah.
I'll pull up all the local games.
Oh, you got them up or what have you? Because I'm ready to pick some.
Local high school.
Yeah. I am glad, though, that Tennessee's got the primetime game for once on ABC. I can't even remember the last time that was, it's been a minute,
So. Would it be the Bristol game?
It would have been the Bristol game. Good memory. And that was what, 2015? That was almost a decade ago. That was almost a decade ago, bud. Yes.
When's the last time they had a prime? Is that the last time they had a prime?
Like on ABC? You can say the CBS, they had 8 o'clock games, but I'm talking about ABC primetime, Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler calling you. That's what I'm talking about right there.
ABC is like That's the big boy one.
It is,
when
man.
You,
it is.
like, because I feel like ABC was the start of it, and then CBS took it to a level, then ESPN. Like, Ron Franklin and Mike Gottfried raised us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the football I grew up on.
That 7:30 ESPN game was no joke at night.
Yo,
it was,
man. If it was at night, oh, man. Neyland at night?
Neyland was pretty
Dude,
awesome.
man,
Neyland at night is an experience.
The best experience I've ever had at Neyland at night was when we came out with the black jerseys against Kentucky 2 years ago.
I like when they did. I like when they did the black jerseys against South Carolina.
That was electric.
Yeah.
That was they debuted them. They did that spooky Rocky top. The light was amazing. The fireworks were amazing. They put the spotlight just on the tee, blacked out the whole stadium. Oh, I still get goosebumps thinking about that night. That was amazing.
I'm going to tell you a game that I like as a big upset, by the way, and I could be completely wrong. It's at 10 o'clock Saturday night, Boise State at Oregon on Peacock. And I will tell you, I think Boise upsets Oregon because Boise's like a contender for that 12-team playoff as the highest lower
at
group.
large,
Five. Yeah, the lower group.
Group of 5.
And Oregon looked horrible against Idaho, like Kerry said. They should have lost.
I think Oregon was hella vanilla. Cause
you think so? You think they were just playing?
I think they were playing it. They were playing possum. But Boise State might beat Oregon.
Boise State's getting back to that old level that they used to be at.
If Dan Lanning can make adjustments in the second half, then Oregon wins. But if they keep that short intermediate passing game and not push the ball down the field with Dylan Gabriel, they don't beat Boise State.
This is true.
They don't beat Boise State.
One other thing, there's only one other game that would even garner any type of attention just because of who plays for them and the coach. Colorado at Nebraska is the other 7:30 game on NBC, by the way, rivaling Tennessee versus NC State. So not that, it's not Colorado, Nebraska of old, but people like to watch Shador and Dion. So yeah.
Prime time is just
Travis Hunter.
He's must-see TV.
He is.
Coach Prime is doing something in a way that he's putting the eyes and the focus on his kids to have the world notice who he's got playing up against these teams. And defensively, there were some things they got to get correct because the way that they were able to manipulate the line of scrimmage to get plays and to get first downs, you saw that as a problem for the defensive line. And when you got your secondary getting a lot of tackles, like Shiloh Sanders was making almost every tackle on their defensive side. Like, they got some things they need to clean up, but they are an exciting team to watch because I think it's the anticipation of if they lose or when they lose. Coach Prime ain't worried nothing about that, baby. Prime know how to win, baby. The Prime coach them kids up right, baby. Building men, baby. I love Coach Prime, baby.
Yeah.
Coach Prime.
Well, and Jamie asked earlier, does Napier make it to the UT game? I'll tell you, I think Florida's going to make a play for Coach Prime to come over there to be their next head coach because he could recruit the hell out of Florida. And
between Prime and Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin and Prime. I believe that too.
If anything, it would be tough for Florida to hire a Florida State guy as their head coach.
You're right.
Would Miami hire a Florida State head? Like, come on, man.
Can I tell you this? Larry Frank and me said that if Mario fails or whatever like that, why not? Why not Coach Prime? Because he's already best friends with Warren Sapp and Ed Reed and all those guys. So it's like, we'd accept him as one of them our own, and he could recruit like anybody down there in Florida to come play for him. I mean, right now he's getting people in Colorado, Florida, and Florida State and Miami sell themselves.
But you know what I like about Coach Prime?
What's that?
Coach Prime has access to Hall of Famers.
Yeah, it does.
Check this out. On his staff is probably close to 100 to 170 years of coaching experience, right? Yep. Dig this. What if you saw your wide receivers coach is Terrell Owens? Your secondary coach is Ed Reed. Your defensive line coach is Warren Sapp.
Yep.
Your linebackers coach is Broderick Thompson. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's sick.
Why wouldn't you want to send your kid there?
Yeah.
If you're gonna learn,
yeah,
those guys.
Yeah,
those guys did it at a level that few walk through that hollow door. So that's why the attention on Prime is so great and why we enjoy it and why we love it. Because I'm excited about every victory he has. There's some people that want to see this man lose, and it's like, how could you have that spirit in your body? How could you have that spirit in your body?
I don't know. Haters hate, man. It's like people took pleasure in West losing a couple weeks ago, and it's like, why? Yeah.
Like Facebook. This is one thing I love about Facebook. Facebook is the newspaper, man. Like Facebook is the newspaper for 35 and up. You know what I'm saying? You 35
it is actually.
Your newspaper is Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook is your newspaper, right?
Hey, you don't do this. You don't do this on the toilet anymore. Where you flip. What you do is this. You're doing this on the toilet. That's what you do.
That's
it on the toilet.
That's it right there, man.
Yep. That's
your new newspaper is Facebook.
It is.
And you're looking at it and you're saying, "Oh wow, they got this to say about some kids." Oh wow, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
I love what CJ Smith's dad said.
Oh yeah, that's my buddy right there. Shout out to Chavez Sr. I love him. That's my buddy.
CJ Smith.
He didn't hold back.
I was being facetious. I was like, you know what, exactly. Because at this point, it's like, if you got to do that to beat us, in a 3 overtime game, but it didn't take anything away from the kids.
You know who was sitting next to me at the game, don't you?
Talking. This is what old people do.
But you know who was sitting next to me? Chavez was next to me, helping me. Chavez was my spotter while you were out, Shane, just to let you know. Yeah. Chavez and Michael spotters. So shout out to Michael Lynn. He was there with me too. So it was awesome.
Michael Lynn.
When we were doing stats, when I was doing stats. Michael Lynn was right next to me, and his daughter. Okay, so I got to tell you all something. So when the kick didn't go good, I was doing this thing with the horns, and she didn't. She's like, what was that crazy thing he was doing, Mom and Dad? Talking to Lindsay. Shout out to Lindsay. So now she knows me as the guy that does the horns when the kick is going up or whatever like that. Like, I freaked out Michael Lynn's little daughter during that, and the kick, the snap was bad. So my little juju worked or whatever, got us to a third overtime. We just pull it out. So,
man, that if that's the way to open up a season, is like, dang, like,
Win some, lose some, man.
I feel like that's a building character game for those guys. Like, I really think the leadership of one Parker Dubon is going to get this team to the heights of previous teams, man. Like,
this is a strong senior class. This is a strong senior class.
And Jack Keefe and DeRoche, this senior class is like, look, we've been to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
If you guys want to get there, here's the way.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like Jack Keefe said, everybody's got to buy in. And I think the stock is going to be high. And I'm gonna be out there at Farragut enjoying myself. And can we get the hospitality like we got at Catholic? Like,
I don't know if we'll get that at Farragut. I don't know.
because like Catholic gave us some hospitality. Like Farragut, you're up next.
I just want to know what teams take it as seriously as Catholic does. Honestly, it all through there and people getting off work at 4:00.
Should we do a post game show, or are we just filming the game?
I think we might just be filming the game. I'll
Film
tell
the
you what.
game?
There's going to
Film
be
the
a
game?
game coming up. No, there's going to be a game coming up that we'll do a pregame. We just have to just pick the right one and do the right channels. But I like it at West. I want it at West
Yeah,
with
we
the
need a pregame
championship
at
banners.
West.
I want it there. I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
West in the hollowed hills of Marbles.
You
They're
know
all
what?
Sutherland. That's what we
That's
need.
what we need to do. We just need to do the post games at West.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, we just regular with our phones. You know what I'm saying? Not even
set up everything. So
we wouldn't even need to set up everything. We just do it off our phone.
That's like we did with the basketball. We did a brief thing with the basketball, and then we left or whatever. So get some interviews. So Shane,
I feel like I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
film. I'll film the game. I will film the game if I'm there. I should. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and I've got to post those things. I've just been so busy with everything and so forth.
We got to get our press passes. We got to get our press passes.
We do got to get those. So
we are pressed now.
Yeah, we are. Shane, wanted to get those games up. Let's pick some games, and if you're gonna hold, do you want to take note of them, or do you want me to write them down?
Yeah, I've got everything wrote down.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I'm not even sure what we'll call the game of the week, but here's every local school this weekend. We got Bearden versus Anderson County.
Okay.
I'm going Bearden.
I think it'll be another close one, but I think Bearden wins in the fourth quarter. I say by 10 points. So Bearden by 10.
What you got, BT?
I got Bearden by 3.
All right, next one, South Doyle versus AE.
Ooh, somebody's got to win that one.
Somebody's got to win.
I'm going to go AE. I think Stanton gets it over Hedrick for the first victory. So, yeah, I got AE.
Somebody's got to win.
Oof.
I'm going to AE as well.
It's going to be ugly. I got AE. I think AE got to bounce back.
Yeah.
AE's got to bounce back.
All right, next one up, Hardin Valley versus Cott County.
Oh, Hardin Valley will win. Yeah, Hardin Valley.
I say the same thing.
Hardin Valley versus who?
Cott County.
Hardin Valley.
Good.
Hardin Valley, they definitely got enough speed and enough talent to get it done.
Yeah, they'll get it done.
I'll leave our game for last.
Okay.
Gibbs versus Carnes.
I'm going to tell you this. Carnes is a lot better than people think, but I like Gibbs. Gibbs looked really good beating Halls last week. We like that quarterback, BT. Give me Gibbs by 10 points.
Like I said, he is going to be one of the best quarterbacks we've heard in a long time. Axton. That's all you're going to hear. It's all you're going to hear all night. Axton.
Hey, he outdueled the Halls quarterback last week and won in overtime. So
what did we say? We said this in spring.
Mm-hmm.
We said the kid from Gibbs. Was it Wyatt Axton?
Wyatt Axton. Yep.
Is he not for real?
He is.
Is he not for real? Outdueled him.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Those are two playoff teams right there. Gibbs and Halls, 2 playoff teams right there. So
he's gonna be on the next level.
Yep.
Like he is going to be on the next level.
Yeah. Shane, who did you pick? Gibbs or Carnes? Who'd you pick?
I like Carnes' defense. So we'll Carnes.
Carnes is doing great, man. I'm happy for them.
They had a defensive lineman get 2 interceptions against Hardin Valley.
Can I throw this out there about Carnes? They have not played yet Clinton, Lenore City, Oak Ridge, and I believe who's the other team? Campbell County in their region or what have you like that.
Yeah.
From what I've seen right now, the winner of the Carnes Oak Ridge game is going to be your number 1 seed. Book it from that region in the
Yeah.
and Carnes has a great shot at it, man. Honestly, they really
Yeah,
do.
I'm bringing Carnes because I've seen what their defense is capable of. So,
Yeah.
and their run game is really, really good. All right, next one up: Sevier County, Lenore City. No, my bad. Fulton versus Halls.
Fulton versus Halls. Two pair, you go first. Go ahead.
I like Fulton.
You know, I like Halls to bounce back. I think that they just ran into a really good quarterback and team in Gibbs last week. I think Halls gets back on the winning track, and I got them by 2 touchdowns over Fulton.
I got Fulton by 3.
Where's that game being played at, by the way?
At Halls.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a little hot. It's gonna be a little hostile.
A little hostile, just a little.
Yeah. All right, next up, Sevier County, Lenore City.
I think Sevier County wins by 3 touchdowns easily. They got a great quarterback, and Sevier County's on a mission right now and will definitely secure that 1 seed in Region 1 5A. So give me the Smoky Bears by 3 touchdowns.
Man, I like Sevier County in this one. Just because of, I think they got some prime athletes, a little different speed that, you know what I'm saying, Coach Cummins, you know what I'm saying, he's just got in it.
Give them a couple years. They're already competitive.
They're competitive right now, but if you give that man Scott Cummings 3 years with just coaching them up, finding the right guys that's in that city, yeah, Lenore City is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Just not right now.
Not right now. Get them while you can. That's all I'm going to say.
Get them. Hey, because trust me, Cummings can.
Yes,
Cummings can win big games. Like
Mm-hmm.
he ain't new to this. He true to this.
Hey, let me just tell you this. There were some Oak Ridge people after they lost a couple weeks ago that were saying, man, I wish we still had Scott Cummings.
Yeah.
Just saying. And I heard that from one of the horses' mouths over there that said it. So,
all right, next up, Saudi Daisy and Loudon.
Ooh, I hadn't got to see Loudon. I don't even know what Loudon.
Last week.
I don't know what Loudon's bringing back, and that hasn't been on me because I didn't watch a lot of Loudon football last year.
I've got a buddy whose son plays for Loudon, so I've seen a lot of their film. I'm going Loudon.
You know,
okay.
I hate Jeff Herrick, or and I'm going to throw that out there. As much as I can't stand Jeff Herrick, I want Saudi Daisy to win, but if we're having a competition here, yeah, give me Loudon by 3. Why not? So.
You know what? I think Saudi Daisy was how good is Saudi Daisy?
They used to be okay, but they've not been good as of late. They've not been good.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So I
they're the bigger school if you care about stuff like that. But no, I mean, it should be Loudon that wins that game. So, yeah.
All right. Next up, Bradley Central and Maryville.
Maryville by however many they want, and I think they're really going to rub it in because they remembered last year, both times.
Yeah, I'm going Maryville as well. It's Maryville.
Yeah, it's Maryville.
I think Bradley Central falls off this year.
Yeah. 2 pair, who you got?
Maryville
and Bradley Central.
Maryville. Yeah.
All right. Next up, Oak Ridge and Powell.
Would you like to go first, 2 pair?
Ooh. I like that group out of Powell. I like that group. They've been fighting and scratching and clawing. I don't see them losing Oak Ridge.
I've got Powell pretty much doing to Oak Ridge what they did to Farragut. So, and probably by that same margin, give me 35-7 over Oak Ridge.
I'm going Powell as well.
Yeah.
Central and Ray County.
You know, I'll tell you this. Give me Central and Coach Lane. I like them. I think that they will win that one. Central and Coach Lane.
Yeah, I'm going the same pick on that one.
Yeah, give me Central.
Wake County hasn't been good since like 2014.
Yeah, when they almost screwed us out of the state championship when half the refs in that game used to play for Ray County and Pemberton. Yeah.
Mm. It's usually how it be, man.
No.
So we all say Central?
Central. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Battle of Blount County, Heritage and William Blount.
Give me Billy Blunt in this game. Heritage is got a backup quarterback since their starter got injured in the Maryville game, breaking his collarbone. They couldn't even really muster that many points against South Doyle last week. I think William Blunt names the score.
I like William Blunt. Heritage ain't got enough horses.
No.
They ain't got enough horses.
Heritage just got Coach Osevich, don't they?
They do. They do.
Yeah.
They're just still trying to. I mean, they're hurt. If that quarterback hadn't gotten hurt for them, I think they would have been more competitive. But they were struggling last week to find points against South Doyle. At one point, that game was 6-2, guys. Just to let you know, and this wasn't baseball we're talking about.
All right. Next up, Gatlinburg Pittman versus Carter.
Give me GP. I like GP. You know, this is Scott Meadows' swan song. He's retiring after this year. I think that they'll win as many games as they can win until they run into the buzzsaw of Alcoa, unfortunately. So give me GP.
Man, I got Carter pulling up the upset.
Good pick.
I'm going Carter as well. Just from what I saw, even though they had to go up against Webb and all the players and money you can buy, they held their own.
They did. They held their own. I like Carter. Just I feel like they got guys that's hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're willing to prove something because they're not getting talked about like that from the standpoint. But their alumni is pretty strong, and they know that they can make some noise, if any. But I won't say they lost their last game though. Right?
They actually beat Austin East.
They beat Austin East.
They did, but they did lose one, if I'm not mistaken. So they did lose the first one. So
and that was big for them to beat Austin East. Right?
Yeah, it was the Battle of East Knoxville, to be honest with you. So it really was.
All right, and then game of the week, as far as we look at it, West versus Farragut.
I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight, and I've got West by a touchdown. So I got West by a touchdown.
I got West by 3. I got them by 3.
I got West by 10.
Yeah, it's going to be a classic game. I think West just has a little bit too much in the fourth quarter, and crowd's going to be amazing and keep Farragut in it, but I think West just pulls ahead with depth in the fourth quarter by a touchdown. That's how I think it goes. So.
All right, that's all the games.
Awesome.
I think that covered every high school in the area.
Yep, absolutely it did. So, yeah. Well, good show, guys. Honestly, we all agree that Tennessee's going to beat NC State, so we got that. And we all agree Texas is going to beat Michigan, so there's not much else to really talk about in college. So for sure. So yep. And by the way, fantasy football. Good luck to everybody except for those going up against me. You mentioned Jordan Love. I hope he does have a good game because that's my quarterback in Michael Lynn's league. So. Shout out to my guy Michael Lynn. So
you need him to have a great game.
I do. Hey, and then I got Jamar Chase, who they haven't even worked out a contract, so I'm gonna have to sit his ass on the bench until they get that worked out. So
man.
Pay the guy money. Pay the guy money. Goodness gracious. Jeez. Greedy people.
Pay the man.
All these guys got is maybe 3 years or 4 years at this point, and with everybody going at everybody's knees. So shoot.
Right.
Come on. One play away, man. One play away from it being over.
Exactly.
So. Well, Shane, final thoughts, man, as we wrap this one up.
Yeah, I'm glad college football's back.
Thank God.
I'm ready to see some good high school football this week. Ready for NFL kickoff soon. I was glad football's back. Keeps my mind off everything else.
It really is, man. It's a great distraction. It is. My final thoughts before I let Two Pair close us out like he always does. Guys, there's a lot of craziness going on in the world right now and everything. But one thing that I want everybody to do is just love each other. Just be kind to each other. I know it's hard sometimes, but football is a great distraction, like Shane said. And, it's a game. Just don't take it too seriously,
Mhm.
but at the same time, just love each other and be good. There's a lot of bad stuff I've seen, and I don't wish any ill will on anybody. And it's all for the love of the game. And remember, keep that cause going and so forth. So that's all I got. And go Rebels as always. Throw that W up. But Two
That
Pair,
it does.
close us out, brother. Honestly, so yeah.
Hey, love, peace, and chicken grease. You throw your dubs in the air, wave them like you just don't care. And just know this, people. Uh, Football is back, and it is a great time to be alive. So love the ones that are close to you. Tell somebody something positive, and just be a rebel with a cause. Have a cause to do something. Have a cause to uplift people. That's
Mhm.
what we're doing here, man. So
That's it.
shout out to everybody in the chat tonight. Thank you guys for taking your time to just hang out with some guys who play and just want to talk about sports and enjoy themselves,
And
man.
laugh
We
and have a
appreciate
good
it.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
laugh and have a good
absolutely.
time.
That like and subscribe button. We had, by the way, real quick, shout out to everybody that watched the Bearden Game Day show. It was our highest show ever. We've had over 90 views, by the way. So love you guys for everybody
Wow.
that watched it either
Thank you,
live
everyone.
or
Thank you.
recorded.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. It was really well worth it, honestly. So you bet. So thanks again, and keep watching and keep that cause going. So close us out, Two Pair.
Yeah, man. Y'all know what it is, man. It's Rebels with a cause. And the cause is real because somebody got to have a cause for something.
Exactly right. Love you guys. Go Rebels.